Up, mama, make it roll, won't you?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Scrolls Allowed podcast, and I am leaving that in for sure. Seal, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a fucking amazing day. I got to see my baby boy, Junior. I got permission to actually be a father. This
Producer
is,
Junior, baby,
yeah,
PJ.
this is amazing. He's fucking 2 years old. Went about 7, 8 months without being able to have him at my house and do stuff with him. And the last couple weeks, met up with the old BM and baby mama for the older cats that listen to the podcast, and kind of got a rapport going and letting her see. He didn't like slides, would not go down slides. Last week, I picked his little fat ass up, took him down the slide with me about 3 or 4 times, went right up by himself. Now he loves slides. Was scared of the water park, got him in the water park. So me and him got this little trust going on. He knows who Big Papa is. So now BM knows who Big Papa is when it comes to Junior, and that's little old me. And so I'm happy as fuck, dude. We got this cryptocurrency going off like crazy. I got I got my baby back, and oh yeah, the Jags kind of went the fuck off in the draft this year. So I'm excited as shit. Besides the Etany, Eatany, however the hell you want to say his name, we all know I'm not the best with
Etienne.
names. Etienne. Uh,
He's
I
going to
could
be a
go without
fucking
him.
boss for you guys,
He
though,
is
but
going to
we'll
be a
talk about
boss.
that later.
I was excited as fuck until Urban Meyer. The only thing that I've ever had to say bad about him in the whole time, besides him,
Yeah,
getting a
faking
little
sick to
sick
go.
at times. But yeah, he came out saying that he was going to be the third down back. He wasn't going to be in rotation. It was
Right.
going to be Carlos Hyde and James, which I'm down with James Robinson being the number one back. Fuck Carlos Hyde. He's going to sit around, and if anybody gets injured, then he'll show up on the field.
Right.
But nope, it's going to be Carlos Hyde and James Robinson. He's going to come in as third down back, which I hopefully and yeah, hopefully think that that is just smokescreen.
Yeah,
And
it's
he's
about
going to
Etienne
do.
earning his job too, which is that's a good thing for a coach to say they needs to earn his job. But before we jump into our NFL draft extravaganza that we will get to in depth and in full, we want to go ahead and shoot some shout outs out. And I want to shout out you guys for a solid, full on, what my teams always do and what your teams have been doing recently. Prove that they can beat someone and then go, we good. We don't need to beat you. And luckily, that's what your Cavs did to my Suns tonight. Forced overtime and then just said, you know what? We actually don't want to win. We're trying to get a draft pick here, and gave us the game in overtime. We ended up winning by 16, but that was a tough game. That should not have been that tough.
It really shouldn't have. But shout out to Isaac Okoro. He really stepped up and showed out on the offensive end. We drafted him for his defensive talents, and in that first half he had like 20 points, 18 points, something like that, and really kept us in. We were down 5 at half, I believe. It really kept us in. In the third quarter, he kept the same. That everybody knows how I feel about us in the third quarter. It's like me and you playing Rick. We just don't get along. It's just something about the Cavs in the third quarter, and he kept us alive with his just extra effort and everything like that. And in the fourth quarter, like you said, we kind of took off a little bit and then pumped the brakes, and then came back at the end and forced overtime. But yeah, and actually I did want to bring it up. So the other day I got a little notification saying that a lot of Cavs players are pissed off at Colin Sexton and his ball first mentality and holding on to the ball the whole time and being more of a scorer point. And I'm fine with that. That's why Darius Garland, if you've watched any of the Cavs games in the last 2 or 3 weeks, has been bringing the ball up the court off of rebounds, off of made baskets. Yeah, Colin brings it up, and that's about the last time anybody else sees the ball. So that's why off of rebounds, every other fucking player on the team passes it to Garland first, and he's very willing to do it, and Colin's kind of pissed off. But I'm kind of about it. I mean, we're not going to make the playoffs. We got a new coach. Right. Everybody's healthy, but it just seems like with this bullshit going on in the locker room, the team isn't gelling like we were at the beginning of the year with all these guys that were just sign-ons and all this bullshit.
Right.
That we're just not coping. And so I'm excited for this little bit of little stuff. The way the NBA is nowadays, there's fucking 10 teams in the league that would love to have a Colin Sexton, and I wouldn't mind having their first round draft pick. So we have Darius Garland. We have a lot of good people, and there's a lot of people in the league that are definitely willing to go around into new places. And like Andre Drummond showed last year, the Cavs is still a destination that people are willing to go to. I mean, but before we fired fucking JD,
Yeah.
It was a place that was building a foundation, but this guy isn't going to be there. So hopefully you find the coach this next year
Right.
and come on the up and ups. But yeah, I'm excited for the fact that we have drama going on in the locker room. I'm excited for the fact Colin Sexton is being a ball hog. And I'm excited for the fact that we let you guys get the win and get another step closer to that first seed, baby.
Yeah, so I thought for half a second that I wasn't going to get to talk about the Suns being the first seed because last week I said we have some really important games that could,
You see this color on me?
yeah,
Ooh.
that could get us the number 1 seed, and we beat the Jazz, we beat the Wizards, which the Wizards are no big deal. We beat the and then we beat you guys, and so we are first place with 7 games to go. So that's huge. We're tied with the Jazz, but we have the tiebreaker. So if we just keep winning out, we have the easiest schedule out of the top 4 teams in the West. So hopefully we can win out. We really don't even play another tough team. I don't believe, but you know us, we can always blow one. So if we finish with the first seed, that'll go from the worst team in the West to who got shafted in the lottery to the best team in the entire NBA, unless the Nets or the 76ers run off something. That's huge. That's a big turnaround. I know Chris Paul was huge. He had 16 points tonight. Devin Booker was huge, but it looks like the biggest part that Chris Paul brought to us, man, is just that leadership, that locker room mentality. The first interview, I don't know if you saw, but when they clinched the playoffs a little while earlier in the week, they asked Chris Paul, like, you did it again. You're with another team. You led them to the playoffs. You flipped them around. The first answer he said is, I'm happy that the world finally gets to see Devin Booker. So, like, that's the type of leadership that he came in. They couldn't have got a leader that was, no offense to LeBron. We talk a lot of shit to LeBron, but LeBron likes to talk about himself. LeBron likes to take over and do himself things, and he wins games. So respect to that. But Chris Paul wins games and then says, yo, look at this guy. Look at this guy. We're doing this. We're doing that. And that's the type of leadership the young guys needed. So I'm happy, man.
And to his discredit, that's one of the reasons the guy doesn't have one of them big old rocks on him.
Stinger.
That's true. Because he's always it's been only 3 years now. 2 years ago, last year with OKC, and this year with the Suns, that you really see him controlling the game, dominating the game, and all facets when it comes to points and everything. With Chris Paul, he's always known he can put up 30. He's just more worried about getting the team incorporated, keeping the team in rhythm. He knows he can stay in rhythm. He needs 5 shots a game, and he's going to go 5 for 5.
Right.
It doesn't matter if they're spread out 10 minutes apart. So yeah, that's the thing, and that's not going to be to his discredit when it comes to the Hall of Fame. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, absolutely. But damn, am I happy that he started turning it up like this with the Suns. And we saw it last year in the bubble with OKC. Yeah. All we need is a chance. Exactly. All we need is a chance. They gave us a chance and forced the game 7. And by God, did this motherfucker almost get it done.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny because, like you said, Chris Paul is always the guy with 4 points at halftime, 4 points and 12 assists at halftime, and then he still finishes with 30 somehow because he's like, I decided to turn it on. And that's helping the guys like Ayton because I've watched the last 2 weeks, and I was watching them play the Jazz. And now Ayton didn't have a great game against the Jazz, but the first 6 possessions, Chris Paul walked it up and threw it right to the block to Ayton every single time. And that's just the kind of thing you have to do with the mentality that Ayton is, because he will check out if you let him check out. And that's where Chris Paul, because if you make Devin Booker bring it up like we have been, he's taking shots, rightly so. He should be taking shots. And Chris Paul knows now where to get these guys their shots and keep Ayton involved.
And he's a lot more than that, the locker room. If you don't think he's letting Ayton know about Luka's numbers, you're crazy. They were in the same – who was the other guy?
Marvin Bagley, but he's injured.
He's injured right now. But if you don't think that 2 weeks ago or last week when Vlade came out saying that Bagley was the better guy to select, then they were going with Bagley the whole time. They didn't care who was on the board.
Yeah, Paul taped that shit to Ayton's locker, probably. Yeah, for sure.
Like the things that Chris Paul does as a dog, it goes beyond the court. And and like you see with Ayton, he hasn't been showing it since he's been in the league, but he still has that touch that he had in Arizona. He still has that finesse. And a lot of that credit in the last month and a half that he's been able to work that in is to Chris Paul, because he's a dog. He's going to let him know, hey, bro, you got this guy Luka over here. He's a fucking all-star already. He could retire tomorrow and probably be in the Hall of Fame. What have you done? What have you done? You were before him. What have you done? And it's crazy what Chris Paul is able to do. And yeah, they did have a good Bridges, the better Bridges.
For sure.
He's been insane.
Less of a highlight reel Bridges, but the better player.
Devin Booker, Peyton coming out, solid minutes. But yeah, Chris Paul was the needle in the haystack that team needed to be able to turn around and go from going 8-0 in the bubble to barely missing the playoffs to fucking coming into the playoffs with the first seed. And by the way, good looks on that play-in idea, LeBum, because you're gonna get fucked and end up not in the playoffs.
Well, now he's talking shit, so we don't talk about
whoever
scrubs too much on here.
But whoever came up with that idea should get fucking fired.
He came up with that idea about a year ago, or not came up with it, but he supported it a year ago.
Yeah, if you got these teams that are close enough, why don't they just play each other for the rest of the season and play it out and figure it out? And
it's so funny because just like a month ago, maybe like 3 weeks ago, Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic both said the play-in tournament was the stupidest thing they've ever seen. But now they're clear. They're in like the 5th seed. They haven't said shit about it anymore. They're like, play-in's fine. Let's go with it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what you kind of expect out of these. That's the political side of it. You like it when it doesn't bother you, but you don't like it when it gets you knocked out. And that could very well happen. I mean, AD showed up and showed out, and he said that shit ain't happening. Yeah, his debut back, and with him on the court, I don't see that happening. Right. That clutch block at the end of the game last night, or when you guys see this 2 nights ago, was amazing. And I don't see that happening. But for him to come out and be a little bitch about it, that was laughable. Last year, you were supporting it. You were going for these underdog teams because you knew you were going to beat them. At the end of the day, you weren't worried about the Suns. You're not worried about the Mavs. You're not worried about the Grizzlies. You're not worried about these guys that are in the play-in tournament. But the fact that you're in there this year and you just fucked up your high ankle sprain and you came out saying that you'll probably never recover from it. Yeah. I had a high ankle sprain when I was like 14 years old, and that's the reason my right ankle rolls all the time. Yeah. I know he's not going to be 100% from that. Yeah, we've seen with the science and the rehab abilities nowadays, especially with OBJ, with the Achilles and AD being able to come back, and Paul George from his injury, the science and shit. But with that high ankle, there's not much you can really do. You can't pull tendons and ligaments from other places like you're able to do with the MCL and the ACL.
You can't make them tighter either, because every time it rolls, they get looser and looser and looser.
There's really nothing you can do with that like you're able to do with the knees. Right. And it's awesome for me to think about, but for him to come out and say that, that was devastating. He'll probably never be to 100%. That sucks. But for him, dude, the guy's a fucking billionaire, for one. Yeah. He's ran the league for 20 years now, almost. 2023 will be 20 years for 2. And he has rings. Like, the guy's won chips. There's no reason for him to be bitching, complaining about being in a play-in tournament.
Especially, he should beat any of those teams. It's
3 years ago, you didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, all you got to do is win a game, make it happen, stop talking shit. He's just... he doesn't even have to play. Anthony Davis can beat all 4 of or 3 of those other teams that would be there on his own.
I mean, I said 2 months ago that AD wasn't going to play, and he's showing up 2 weeks before the playoffs.
Well, if they're in the 7 or 8 game, like that 7 or 8 game that has to win just 1 game to get in, LeBron doesn't have to play. AD can go win that game on his own and just move on. Yeah. So I think that's funny, but whatever.
Who would they be? Who's down in that?
It's Golden State, Portland, Memphis, and San Antonio, I think, are the 4 that's there right now.
I'd be scared. Golden State, Portland, I'd be scared. Memphis, if fucking what's his name? Kyle Anderson actually shows up fucking once.
San Antonio, I wouldn't be scared, but that's the lower seed.
I'm scared of Golden State and Portland, especially the way. How about Clay not just sitting out all year? What was it, a couple months ago when he was doing the sideline reporting for the old A network and shit like that? Yeah. He was talking about coming back. Sat out all year. Do you think that we'll see him in the playoffs, or is he chilling? Or the playing games? They probably might not make
the. He's chilling. They don't really need him for their plans. That's not their plan. Was to not play him. Yeah. Ride it out. They're actually doing a lot better than they should, just because MVP Curry showed back up. So. That's all that is. But I don't even honestly think they want to make the playoffs aside from just Steve Kerr told Curry, like, get these haters off your back, bro. That's literally all that's going on.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the organization is actually kind of upset because they're in that middle ground without Clay, and they would have probably rather just missed the playoffs.
Yeah, actually, this past week they had that fucking just disastrous. But how about the Pacers? Who was it that they beat? They were the away team. They beat somebody like 97 to 158.
Oh yeah,
shit.
that was like OKC or something.
Yeah, it was OKC. The worst home loss
Yeah.
in NBA history.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's crazy. So, but shout out to the Suns. Shout out to the Jazz still without Donovan Mitchell doing their thing.
Shout out to Colin Sexton for finding his fucking way out the fucking building.
I don't know what so you draft a guy that literally went 1-on-5 whenever they got down to 3 people in Alabama, and you're like, we don't want you to have the ball though.
Well, but I
role.
think what they were expecting is we weren't expecting Darius Garland to be there. Me and you both.
True,
I was
true.
pissed off that we didn't take Texas Tech dude,
Right.
Culver with that.
Jarrett Culver.
Yeah, I was pissed off, but for the organization, they weren't expecting Darius Garland at that point in time. You take the best available player when it's Darius Garland. So for him to come in the way he's able to operate, because when he got drafted last year, it was kind of he came in, and at the end of the year he was this 2 guard, and Colin was the point. But the same shit started happening at the end of the year. Rebounds would come, and Garland would get the ball. And with this year, with everybody healthy now, with Kevin Love back, with Larry Nance is very fucking vocal in the community and in the basketball team.
Right.
Very vocal wherever he is. It doesn't matter how old he is. He's very vocal and lets people know when he's disgruntled. And Kevin Love is not shy. He has let it be known that he suffers with depression. It's better when he gets it out and doesn't leave it in. So yeah, these type of things, it's not going to help Colin Sexton's thing. And by the way, next year we have to decide if we're going to extend him and pay him or let him go. Right. So at the end of this season, we might as well give him up with 1 year left. Well, we got 2 years left on Darius Garland.
I just think it's funny, and I guess it's not the players that drafted the guy, but you don't go buy a dog and get pissed when the dog barks. You know, that's what dogs do. That's their thing. Like, you got to roll with that. He's a dog. He's not going to be meow at you. You got to fucking deal with it.
Yeah, but when you buy a new dog the next year and it's so good and you're like, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? Why you got to be like, I'm going to sell your ass.
Hey, then sell him. Give him back to the shelter. That's fine.
But, can't tape him up. It's not a crocodile.
Take the loss and give him back to the shelter. So the last shout out that I wanted to give, if you have more shout outs, you can totally give them. But I want to shift back to the NFL. It's not draft related, but shout out to DK Metcalf. He's going to try to make the Olympics. Dude, we know how fast this man is. We saw his 40 time at the combine. We've seen the viral videos. The only faster guy is Tyreek Hill, and I don't know why he's not running for the Olympics. But DK put his money where his mouth is. He signed up for this event that's Saturday. Actually, I think it'll probably be broadcast on ESPN Plus because, of course, it is. So you can watch him run the 100. He's probably going to get smoked by the guys that will actually make the Olympics. But, hey, he bet on himself. He's putting his money where his mouth is. Shout out to that. Step up.
Yeah. So I want to shout out Garrett again. I saw last week, he finally came in second in one of his events. Not bad. The guy barely beat him by like 15 points or something, which is 15 seconds. Or 15 inches in the pole vault or something like that.
Right.
So any of those
the decathlon thing.
Yeah, any of those 12 or 10 events, he barely got beat out, and which is what happened to him 4 years ago. In the Olympics, he barely got beat out for that second spot by like 12 points.
So is he not going to the Olympics then?
No, he's still very much alive and in it. And shout out to Georgia. The guy that beat him was from Georgia, which is his alma mater.
Nice.
Yeah, so yeah, I think he's gonna do it, dude. I really think this is the year. I will be in fucking tears watching that shit. Like that's insane. And yeah, with DK, you gotta think, bro, with all these fast players, there's Tyreek, Nicole Hardman could probably with what he's 5'7", 5'8". He could probably do really good in the 100-meter. But yeah, shout out to DK for wanting to expand and do more. And he did track and field back in the day.
Right.
So
he was on LSU's track team.
Yeah, so maybe fulfill something that was his passion before he realized I could make millions of dollars doing this.
Right. And hey, yeah, do what you can do, man. If you're that talented, go ahead and do it. So
Yeah,
I want
that's
to be
what Garrett
shouting
tried
out
to
for
do.
that.
That's what Garrett tried to do. We shouted out a couple. He went to the Falcons for a couple weeks and training
Right,
camp
that's
and
right.
stuff. So yeah, man, always go for your passion. Whether you go to college and go into wanting to be a fucking architect and end
Yeah,
up in marketing, try to go dig bones, bro. Whether
yeah,
you fucking end up not in college and you end up cooking, if you're fucking passionate serving, do that. If you realize you love people, go to real estate. Deal with people and make a lot more money than that. Just always go for your passion. Whether you're making money, there's always hours after your job.
yeah. Even if
If
your
you go,
passion doesn't get you money, like obviously, like some people will go do a side hustle and get a lot of money, but hey, maybe
yeah,
your passion is just dogs or
painting,
whatever, and you just want to hang
painting.
out.
You like to paint and shit.
Yeah, anything.
Always take time for your
Do it.
passion, man. You got your daily job. Everybody, even these athletes that we talk about, it's a business. They have a job to do. But shout out to the ones that when their job at the end of the day, they're clocked out, they're doing something else that they really do care about. Be
Exactly.
like them motherfuckers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's shift over to the draft. We got a lot to talk about, nothing that hasn't been talked about, but we're just going to put our spin on it. And since Seal got the first pick in the draft already, we're going to let Seal tell us why they are going to win the Super Bowl next year. So tell us about your draft, man. How happy are you with the draft? You already mentioned it at the top, but
I'm excited. So after the draft, they came out, every team comes out with the behind the scenes phone calls and all that stuff.
mm-hmm.
So apparently, I told you, why the fuck is this taking so long? Like, what the fuck's about to happen?
Right.
Well, during the draft with Trevor, they called him with about 5-6 minutes left and let him know they were told by the league to wait till 2 minutes left to put in their card. And but they were definitely going with him. There was nothing to worry about. He already knew it. He had the playbook fucking 2 months ago.
Right.
So this was already a done deal. But it made me fucking nervous. I was thinking, we've known for months, it's Jacksonville, Duval. We're gonna turn it in at 9:04. And that bitch got to 8 minutes, I got worried. When it got to 5 minutes, I got very worried. When it got to 3 minutes, I was like, are we getting Aaron Rodgers? Is Aaron Rodgers coming to Jacksonville right now? But no trade happened. We did get Trevor Lawrence. I was very fucking excited for it. And I'm very excited for it.
Etienne.
Yeah, that guy. But if he's the number one back, or if
I think he's going to do the Rojo thing where now it's year 4 or whatever, and Ronald Jones is our guy. I think that's kind of where Etienne is going to be.
And I wouldn't mind that either. But at the same time, when the Jaguars were in their heydays, it was Fred Taylor, Maurice Jones-Drew.
Right.
You had Thunder and you had Lightning. Both of these guys are lightning. James Robinson, small. He breaks tackles and he gets through. And
Etienne.
He likes
that hard of a name.
He likes to break tackles, but he's never thinking about 4 yards and dropping. He's always thinking about 4 yards, 3 guys on me. Let me try to spin out and go. James Robinson knew from the start, if he sees the hole, he gets it. If he doesn't, he falls.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm worried about with
Etienne.
Is the fact that he hasn't really learned that. You never see that. He's always going left or right, spinning, trying to find space and then create it.
He'll run 15 yards to make it a yard.
Bro,
which sucks.
So he's the leading rusher all time for the ACC. That involves Warrick Dunn. That involves Dalvin Cook. All these great FSU running backs that have came in the league. Oh, yeah. And that boy Ricky Williams, who smoked a lot of weed. Yeah, he beat him out too in Miami. Yeah, like he is the all-time leading rusher in ACC history by a good bit. He is a 3-time all team, whatever.
All conference?
All all
American. All NCAA, like all everything.
Yeah, all American. He's a 3-time all ACC player. Like he's got the juice.
Right.
It's just if he's able to hold on to the ball is what I'm worried about, because a lot of these guys who hit the home runs in the league don't secure the football a lot, and they last 2 or 3 years and end up returning and shit like that.
Right.
And I'm excited, but fucking Carlos Hyde is getting more snaps than that motherfucker. Me and Urban are going to talk.
I think it's a smokescreen, just like you said. But yeah, to your point about it taking so long, I literally told you, because you texted me, you said, this is taking a long time, bro. And I said, they got a lot of ads lined up. They a lot of shit to talk about with Trevor Lawrence. They can't wait till they have to let him go. So it's kind of funny that it did actually come out that like the NFL told them, like, hold up a minute, we got too much shit to talk about that we pay a lot of money to do research on and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys too. I was joking when I said, well, are you going to win the Super Bowl? But I think you're trending that way, which is awesome. And
so
that's
if the Jaguars do lose a regular season game, that will be the first regular season game of all-time history for Trevor Lawrence to lose ever.
Yep.
High school,
Pop Warner.
college,
Any of them.
ever. He has never lost a regular season game.
Well, that's gonna happen. I hate to break it to you. That's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen week 2. Week 1, we always come out and show everybody we're about it, and then we win 5 or 6 more games.
Hey, I don't think you guys are trying to win a Super Bowl this year. Obviously, every team's trying to win a Super Bowl, but that's not success for you guys.
There's a meme going around. If you weren't with us when we were 1-15, don't be with us when we're 4-13.
I was there for a long time with Tampa Bay, and then somehow out of the blue we won a Super Bowl, and then went right back to like 4-13, or 4-12, I guess at that time. So yeah, that's something I'm very used to. Maybe you guys can have that 2002 season that just blows up and wins the Super Bowl and comes.
That'd be awesome. We got the leading blocker still on our team in the tight end. We picked up one of the best possession catchers out of Ohio State in the tight end position. Mm-hmm. I was really worried about. We picked up a cornerback really early. I was fucking pissed off about that. But hey, depth. I guess that's what Urban's
it sucks because he was probably one of the best on the board, and it's just like, damn, that's the one position you guys might have been able to look past, but you had to grab that guy. He's good.
Yeah, we have C.J. Henderson, we have Trey Herndon, but again, like I said, whenever we picked up Shaq, move Trey down the board.
Right. You don't
leave
think
him a slot.
To be that
he needs to stay at the slot. He doesn't need to try to. Once he swings his hip and starts going, he gets burnt all day, every day. He's fucking 4 or 5 yards back. So as long as he can stay space forward and swing the bitches and go with the slants or the slot guy and figure that shit out, he's fine. As long as he has some separation, he's good. But right when he fucking turns over, done. Out of there. So let's have Shaq. Let's have CJ. We'll have Trey. And this guy's just coming in and replacing these guys when they get tired. I'm totally fine with that. But I told you, where the fuck's the safety help?
You got it.
We got fucking Cisco, baby. We got Ocho Cisco out of Syracuse. A lot of people don't really know about him this year because he was hurt. But if you watch college football the last couple of years, when you saw Syracuse go, 8-3 2 years ago, it was a lot to do with that motherfucking safety monster in the back and just destroying motherfuckers, getting picks out of nowhere. Like, I was so happy. And it was, the 4th round we got?
They definitely had that boy listed, and they were just letting the other ones fly.
We got the wide receiver in the 4th round. 5th round, it was ridiculous that we were able to get him. But he had an ACL tear, and a lot of the fan group is kind of pissed off about it, but I watch basketball, so I know the science that we have, the people, the doctors and stuff like that. ACL is a lot less than a high ankle sprain nowadays.
Right.
So it's crazy, but that's how it is. They're able to repair the tendons and all that shit and move tendons around, and it's just weird how that shit works. But so I'm fine. We drafted 2 guys with previous injuries that kept them out from last season. But no opt-outs from us, I don't believe.
We drafted a bunch of opt-outs, but we had that luxury that we could do that. But
so I'm excited. I'm happy. We really picked and pinpointed. We got a lineman that I feel like we needed to put the pressure on Cam and Juwan to really step up and show out. Cam got the franchise tag. Juwan is looking to not be lazy. I think he got the franchise tag last year. But I'm excited for the Jaguars, man. I really am. I know we're probably not going to go to the Super Bowl, but we have a chance of winning the AFC South, and I really do believe that after this draft. We all knew what the number 1 pick was, and he definitely is going to buy us 3 or 4 games.
Right.
But the free agent signings that we've gotten and the addition of our draft picks, I definitely feel comfortable in the fact that we can win 9-10 games this year.
And I think more signings are going to come. I mean, you guys have the luxury of having a guy that coached literally the best teams for a solid 8-year stretch. So those guys are starting to get veterans. Obviously, his Florida guys are pretty veterans or out of the league already, but his Ohio State guys are a lot of them are team searching right now. So if he can bring in the best guys that he had and at least get the best out of them, that's huge.
Yeah,
so
a lot of his acquisitions besides Shaq Griffin were cheap. Like a lot of these guys were cheap. We had $88 million, I believe, to spend, and we still have a good $50 million to spend towards this season. So yeah, I definitely see that coming. And we got in on the whole trade market of the draft. I was so happy to see that shit happening. I knew it was going to happen with us being back in the war rooms,
right?
And not at our houses. Somebody was still at their house, I believe.
The
But
San Francisco guy, Klinsman or
he
Kingsman or
was
Kingsman or whatever his name is. Yeah, Kingsbury. There it is.
Kingsbury.
Yeah.
But yeah, somebody was still. But yeah, I was excited for it. All these trades happening. Shout out to the Eagles taking Devontae Smith just so the fucking Giants couldn't. They traded up to get this motherfucker, just so
Yep.
the Giants couldn't get him. I shared
And got to
something on.
pair him back with his quarterback.
Yeah,
So,
I shared him on Facebook earlier. A Giants fan, when they saw that the Eagles traded up, all you see is the Eagles have traded up for the number 10 pick, and he does this. The Eagles have selected Devontae Smith with the 10th pick of the 2000, and he just punched the shit out of and made holes, and his better half came up and punched him in the shoulder and was like, "Get the fuck upstairs. Just calm down. Calm down. He's not mad anymore. He got his aggression. Calm down." Like, shout out to the Eagles for doing that. Was legit a fuck you pick.
Yeah, it was.
They traded up with. I mean, they need another receiver. They need weapons. They'll take it. They got Aguilar. Now they got Devontae Smith. That's going to be nice to see with Jalen. But yeah, that was even more so a fuck you pick, other than a great pickup at the 10th spot.
Absolutely. And while we are media and we want to talk about these great picks, we're also fans. So I'm going to skip all the way to the end of the draft. I'm going to talk about the Bucks for a little bit. We didn't need anything. We all know that. We've talked about it before. We returned to everybody. We didn't need anything. So what did we do? We drafted perfect replacements for everything that we think we might need here in the future. Our first draft pick is a Pierre-Paul replacement. Exactly. He opted out, so he actually dropped a little further than we thought he was going to. We don't need him this year. We still have JPP. We need him next year because JPP is probably gone. So that was huge to get that. And then we went and we got Kyle Trask, who Tom Brady has already said he wants to play until he's like 85 or whatever. So Trask can just continue to do what he did behind your boy Felipe Franks for a little while and continue to develop.
And behind, what was the other quarterback? The Houston and Miami dude?
Well, yeah, that was back in high school.
But he's always been the backup.
Yeah, so he gets to do that again, but he gets to do it behind the greatest. Felipe Franks was a joke. That was literally a joke that I was telling Seal. He didn't learn shit from sitting under Felipe Franks except for what Dan Mullen was teaching him.
How to not throw while rolling out. That's what he learned.
Yeah,
what not to do while rolling out.
So he's going to get to learn from the best non-mobile quarterback. The only knock for Kyle Trask was his lack of mobility, is what they said. And of course, his bowl game, which was bullshit because he was without 5 of his pass catchers. And you can put Pat Mahomes without 5 wide receivers and tight ends, and he's not going to get shit done. So his lack of mobility, he's going to learn from the absolute best that has absolutely no mobility whatsoever. Trask at least can roll out for 2 or 3 yards if he has to. So he's going to learn what to do in the pocket, which is amazing.
Yeah, I didn't really like that either. Like, he ran, I think it was like a 4.9 40,
yeah.
And they're talking all this shit. But Michael Vick ran a 4.7, and they're saying this motherfucker could still play running back in the league and punt returner.
Yeah, but he ran a 4.7 at like 48 years old or whatever.
But with Kyle Trask, like, when you think about, I think Mac Jones doing the 4.6 was kind of a knock towards Kyle Trask. But if you look at the in-game speed, motherfucker can book it.
Yeah.
Like, he can book it. He doesn't want to get tackled. He finds the sideline and just dips.
Well, the thing is, because he doesn't have that mobility, he doesn't have that spy that Mahomes and Lamar and Russell Wilson and those guys have. So when the play breaks down, he can roll out without the threat of that middle linebacker just being on his ass the whole time. And he can actually probably get more yards than Lamar can. Sure. Lamar has to break 3 tackles to do it, and he usually can, but Kyle's not going to have that problem. They're not going to call on him to do anything.
And we saw from Kyle this past year, he's able to roll out and put the ball down in the pocket and just break out and get 7-8 yards. And with these defensive backs that are fucking fast as shit, these linebackers and defensive ends that are 210 pounds, it's probably only going to be 3 or 4 yards, but that's a lot better than a throwaway and you go to 2nd and 10.
So Tom Brady won't even try to escape the pocket. He's going to drop and lose 12 yards.
Yeah, I think Kyle Trask, he got the best fit possible.
Absolutely.
If Bruce Arians stays that head coach for the next 7-8 years, Kyle Trask is going to end up being one of the better quarterbacks. He's going to have that Aaron Rodgers story, I feel like, where you back up a Brett Favre, a la Tom Brady, one of the Aaron Rodgers kind of knocked Brett off the Mount Rushmore talk. But one of these high tier quarterbacks you just learn off of for 2 or 3 years, and then come out and be like, yeah, this is why Tom Brady retired. This is why Brett Favre went to Minnesota, is because we got this cat right here. And I'm fucking excited. Gator made.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that, and I felt it, dude. I felt it when I saw that he was the best available player with 5 picks left, the
Yeah.
best available quarterback left with 8 picks left, and Felipe was like the third one. I was like, yo, Trask isn't coming out of the second round.
Right.
And then when I saw it was up to you guys, I was like, Bruce is taking this motherfucker right now.
It fits him absolutely perfectly.
Guaranteed.
That is the exact person that he would want. So the rest of our draft picks, don't expect them to be on our team in the fall. Like, I hope they are. I mean, I hope they do their thing. I hope they don't get relegated to practice squad or go to some other training camp, but we don't really even have spots for draft picks really. So I think we drafted like 8 people. They're all going to have to really try to show out just to make the team. So I don't really need to name them all that much. There's a cornerback that we got out of like Auburn or something, or BYU, that I'm pretty excited about. But it's just going to be so hard to make our team this year. And maybe they'll take the practice squad money and try to come back next year after some people retire. But those 2 names that I mentioned, you can expect to be on the team, but they're not going to see much playing time. Maybe our first round draft pick, that outside linebacker, edge rusher, can give Jason Pierre-Paul a little bit of rest. Shaq Barrett doesn't need rest. So we're not going to worry about that side of it, but he can help JPP out a little bit and at least get some reps in if we're in blowout games and stuff, but nobody else is touching the field. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they touch the field and do great, but I'm not worried about this draft. I don't think they're going to worry about it.
Yeah, for sure. So I got a couple of fire things for you. If you got some for me, you can bring them after I'm done. First thing, is it not laughable as fuck that 10th pick that the Eagles got with Devontae Smith was traded from the fucking Cowboys? Like, that's fucking awesome. So we fucked up. If we were betting people and lived in states that we could bet in, we would have lost a lot of money, because I definitely would have put $200 or $300 down on top 10 going offense. And 8-9 said, no. We want these safety boys who are fucking raw as shit.
And the cornerbacks, they got the cornerbacks, not safeties, but
the cornerback.
And
the Carolina safety was
J.C. Horn. He was a cornerback, or he's going to be a cornerback in the NFL.
Oh yeah, he's going to be. Yeah,
and then Surtain, right, was the other.
Yeah, and then Surtain was from Alabama. He's going to be a safety. But
yeah, and as soon as those 2 picks came out, Jerry Jones lost a lot of money too, because he was pissed as fuck.
Oh yeah,
he wanted just one of those 2. He's like, if anybody drops, that's ours.
Oh yeah, and especially that South Carolina guy. But it's fucking amazing that they were able to come together with the Eagles to just totally fuck the Giants. And that's Jerry Jones taking his anger out from the 7-8 pick of not being able to get them 2 guys.
So let's talk about the Cowboys for a second. So they got Micah Parsons, who is a great player. Some people actually said he might be the best linebacker. I think he was wasn't he an opt-out?
Yeah.
But he was still the first linebacker off the board. Some people say he's the best linebacker. Some people say he was the second best linebacker behind that guy from Tulsa, actually, I think. That's Zaven Collins guy. Yeah. So the Cowboys went and got him, but they obviously wanted a cornerback. They ended up getting a cornerback a little bit later on. But do you think – they couldn't do too much, but do you think they should have traded up to get Horn or Surtain?
Yeah.
Over getting this inside linebacker?
If that was me, yeah, but it came out the whole time that that wasn't part of their plan. If those guys were gone, then they were wanting to trade down. It wasn't worth trading up for them. And I think they went solid. So what we've seen from the Cowboys the last 3 years with Jalen and God damn it. What's his fucking name? The roll pad dude. He has
the guy that only plays half the season and does amazing when he's in there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. Van Der Esch.
Yeah. Holy shit. Van Der Esch.
So they've been running the 5-2. When Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch is healthy, they run the 5-2. Bringing Parsons in opens up the 4-3, and you can have Parsons and Jalen going out. And they can also fucking rush the quarterback and get there in fucking 1.5 seconds as well if you need them to. But Van Der Esch is just there. When Van Der Esch is on coverage against the tight end, he's smoked. He really can't do anything at all. So he's there to run, protect, and all that shit. So if you're able to switch him to the middle linebacker, that Mike position, and have Jalen Smith and Parsons on the outside, that's fucking scary in itself. And if they're able to cause pressure and be able to help out that gap, those cornerbacks being just doing that corner three or that third zone is going to be able to help them out a lot, not having to play so much man. Because in that 5-2, it's them cornerbacks are on a fucking island and they've been getting smoked. That's why they wanted that safety help. But bringing in that extra linebacker is going to help them be able to move into the 4-3, in my opinion, which is going to help them quarterbacks get some zone coverage help. And that'll definitely help them not lose 34-14 next year.
Yeah, they need a lot more help, sadly.
Oh yeah. They definitely have a chance to win that division still. That helped them on the defensive end.
Right.
Like monumentally. But that they're going to win 9 games next year. But that's going to help them win the fucking division probably.
That's true.
Unless the Eagles just go off and their defense is able to outpower their offense, or their offense is able to outpower their defense.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So,
bro, Jalen Hurts, Nelson Aguilar, fucking who was their running back that they picked up? Ah, shit, 22. He's 22. Fuck, I forget. And then fucking Devontae Smith is what's his name? The big dude, Alshon, still on the team? Nope, he went to the Bears.
He's gone.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, speaking of the Bears, how about them trading up to get Justin Fields, notifying Andy Dalton of it? Do you think that Andy Dalton is a starter?
Yeah, absolutely. I think
after week 5, is Andy Dalton still the starter?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Let me finish real quick.
So
I definitely think respect to this is our first year guy. That's Matt Nagy being a man. That's him letting him know, hey, listen, I'm getting a quarterback. I want you to know there's no lies here. I'm always going to be honest with you.
Right.
You're the starting quarterback right now, but we're drafting a quarterback. Also, fuck Gutekunst and fucking Green Bay, because Aaron Rodgers didn't get that. He had no idea the Jordan Love was coming. You have Andy Dalton, who is a fucking nobody. Yes, he got Cincy to the playoffs when that organization doesn't deserve the playoffs. He had AJ Green. He had a fucking Gio and that other running back who was the fucking third down back getting fucking 15 points a game in fantasy PPR leagues. But yeah, he had a squad. And he had fucking what was the cornerback? God damn it. I'm fucking up right now. But yeah, like they had a squad back in the day in Cincy, and he was able to get to the playoffs when they probably shouldn't. So yeah, Andy Dalton is a good quarterback. He's not Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
He's not Aaron Rodgers. So for him, they called Tom Brady. Hey, Tom, we're getting Kyle Trask. That cool? Yeah, he's not playing for 5 years. Yeah, but we're picking up Kyle Trask. Is that fine? I don't give a fuck. I'm Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers didn't even get that. But yeah, I agree with you there. Justin Fields is going to be starting. It's going to be 2 or 3 games. That team is not set up for success under Andy Dalton, and they definitely have a chance to win 2 or 3 more games under the magician factor of Justin Fields that he's able to bring out and just kind of go solo when the play breaks down, which is going to happen on that shitty ass line of Chicago.
Well, see, you brought it up, so I wasn't going to get to this question until a little later, but we can get to this question right now because you brought up the Bears. They are my winner of the draft out of the whole teams. Justin Fields, I've been low on him. I've talked about being low on him before, but as the 11 pick to trade up and not really give away anything too important is huge. And then with their next 2 picks, they won day 2 and day 3 by grabbing really, really good offensive tackles because they know how much they suck. They know how much Mitch Trubisky was getting hit within 2 seconds. And I think both of those tackles are going to start right away. Left tackle, right tackle, be ready to go. And they're going to see what they can do to protect Andy Dalton. And as soon as they prove that those 2 tackles can block somebody, that's when Justin Fields is going in. And those 3 guys are going to win the draft, I think. I think they won day 1, they won day 2, and they won day 3, in my opinion.
Well, that's in your opinion. But my opinion as a Jags fan, getting them high draft, like Cam Robinson hasn't really worked. Jawan Taylor didn't work. Luke Jokel damn sure didn't fucking work. So them high touted, fucking scouted tackles aren't really. It's in here when it comes to those guys. So yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be fun as fuck because we both know Justin Fields is going to be starting after week 4. Yeah. It's just going to happen. He's going to wow them in practice. He's going to show them that he's able to open up the play after it breaks down and roll out, which we all know Andy Dalton can't do.
Right.
That's why he fucked up his knee. in the first place. And yeah, so I'm definitely expecting Justin Fields. He's going to be the first one to start. After, of course,
Well,
Trevor
Lawrence,
Lawrence.
obviously.
Yeah, after Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be the first one to start. Trey Lance is going to take his time, and get settled in there. He has
Mac
Jimmy
Jones isn't going
G.
to start right away.
He has Jimmy G. No, I don't think Mac Jones is going to start right away. That's just the Belichick way. He will come in throughout the season.
Well, Zach
but-
Wilson will start day one too because they traded Sam Darnold. So it'll be Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence both starting day one.
Yeah, you're right. How about Zach Wilson's mom, bro? Did you see her?
Nah.
Woo! All right, but yeah,
What about his like 20 sisters that he has?
I don't know about that. They're probably hot too.
They're in the
Justin
Mormon
Fields'
family, so they showed a picture of their whole family, and there was probably like 20 of them. Not even kidding. Like that's not even.
Yeah, I took a glimpse of her whenever he got drafted after the Trevor Morris. I was like, but she kind of looked a little thick. But I was looking at the stills of the drafts on Bleacher Report, and that was one of them, Zach Wilson's mom, and they had her Instagram
Oh
up,
my
and
gosh.
yeah, nice.
All right. So who's your winner of the draft? I mean, if you want to pick Jags, you can. If you do pick Jags, please pick a second team as well, just since you are a fan. But who's your
I mean,
winner of the draft?
it is the winner. The Jags are the winner of the draft. They lucked out and were able to go 1-15 and be able to pick up
Right.
Trevor Lawrence. The last time that happened was Andrew Luck. The time before that, I don't even really remember.
Big Ben, they said, was
yeah,
the
Big
next
Ben.
highest draft. It was
Um,
Andrew Luck, Big Ben before Trevor Lawrence that got a 96 or higher or whatever he got.
Yeah, but so we're definitely the winners of the draft. But I want to say the Broncos. A lot of people were talking shit, but they made it to where they can still get a great quarterback and have a chance to win. Yeah, Von Miller's old. They didn't have to go defensive line. They did. But what they were able to do, they know Drew Lock isn't the guy. He's still there.
They
But
haven't
they're
found their
really-
guy even close. Yeah.
No, but they're able to once Denver's able to plant in that quarterback, the roof's the ceiling for them,
The ceiling
or
is
the
the
ceiling's the
roof.
roof, whatever it is. But yeah, that's Denver for me, just for what they were able to do and entice anybody. If Aaron Rodgers decides to really say, I'm not coming back, now that's the spot, because San Francisco fucked that up. They kept Jimmy G. They drafted Trey Lance. Aaron Rodgers isn't going to go and compete with two other quarterbacks. He's going to go and know he's the guy. And in Denver, that's where it's at. So yeah, shout out to Denver to go out and get weapons and protection and security on the defensive end, and hopes to be able to go out and get, because they were one of the front runners whenever this shit came out. And now that it's for certain that it's Aaron Rodgers or Goots, then yeah, that's the team for me that won that draft. Because if Aaron Rodgers goes to them next year, they're the team to beat in the AFC. Fuck KC, LV, the Vegas Raiders are on the up and up somehow. Right. I don't know what the fuck they did really, but they've been getting talked about a lot.
Yeah,
it would definitely be the Broncos, because they have weapons. Not CD, Judy. They have that boy. They have tons of weapons for that guy right now, and they have a good young coach.
So while you were talking, I looked at a well-respected draft guy, Mel Kiper Jr. We all know him. He's the big board guy. He's everything. To see who his
this
see
guy,
who
I've
his
been
winner.
looking at him. I smelled his jockstrap.
He probably did smell his jockstrap though.
It smelled like a first rounder. He was going to do pretty fucking
He gave
good.
away 2 A's for his draft grades. So his best team, I guess there's 2 of them. He said the LA Chargers and the Miami Dolphins were the 2 A's on his draft. The Chargers did a lot to just help Justin Herbert. I think they won by last year drafting Justin Herbert 2 years ago, whenever they did that. That's what won them this draft, is they knew they didn't need a quarterback. So, I mean, that I can see that. They grabbed a lot of protection for him, because that's really all they needed. They're a good team already. So I can see that being an A, I guess. Miami, I mean, I guess. I don't think they're an A, but.
That's all on, oh my God, Waddle.
Jalen
right?
Waddle, yeah.
They got Waddle, right?
Yeah.
That's all on him being able to come back and be the guy he was before his injury.
Right.
We saw what he was able to do in the championship game, knowing that he was probably at 40%. But he still made sure he came back out there and was able to get some kind of draft stock going. And hey, what, 6? He was 6, right? 5, 6, 6.
He was 6, yeah.
So shout out to him for being able to come out and do that. But that's
Right.
what I feel like that grade is all about, to be able to add somebody that Tua was comfortable with and go along with. And we all know Waddle, if he's healthy, is going to be one of the more dynamic guys in
True.
the NFL
Absolutely.
year one.
Well, let's talk about what you just said with Tua being comfortable. The last thing I wanted to talk about is teammates getting drafted, going to just be a rapport right away. Trevor Lawrence, of course, got Etienne with him as well. I believe that the Jets picked up a BYU wide receiver to go with Zach Wilson. I'm not for sure, but I believe. Jamar Chase got drafted to go hang out with Joe Burrow. Jalen Waddle with Tua. We got Devontae Smith with Jalen Hurts. All these guys are. Do you think the teams actively were trying to say, like, we should match these dudes up with their QBs and really instead, because like if it was Jamar Chase versus Jalen Waddle or even Devontae Smith, do you think that was in their war room going, hey, we have Joey Burrow, we should get him as
Well,
dude?
with for sure with the two with the Dolphins, we
Yeah, that's been
Jamar
talked
Chase,
about for a year now.
like Jamar Chase was the guy. Like he's the guy in this draft. Yeah, Devontae Smith won the Heisman, but
Chase is a fucking monster.
he's the guy. So for the Dolphins to go out and being able to pick this guy up.
Well, that was the
over-
Bengals. The Bengals got Jamar Chase.
Yeah, at 5. So yeah, but for them, they could get Jamar Chase. They can get the Heisman winner Devontae Smith, or you can get Jalen Waddle, who could have came out last year and after his injury and been a top 10 pick
Right.
at that point in time. And for them to go Jamar Chase, yes, I definitely feel that at the end of the first round, whenever we picked up Etienne, yeah, that definitely has something to do with it, especially with Urban thinking in his mind he's going to be a third down back, pass protection. He knows Trevor. He knows what he wants to do, and certain protections probably. Dabo's not one of those college coaches. That's basic. He's really in depth with everything, so they definitely know each other's protection with different looks and all that stuff. So that'll definitely help on the third down side of things. So yeah, I definitely feel like the more we go about it, and in the recent years, these motherfuckers have been dynamic together. You have Trevor Lawrence, who lost 2 games, both in the postseason, and you have Travis Etienne, who was the all-time leading rusher. You have Joey Burrow, who went from being a nobody to the first fucking pick, and then you have his number 1 target from that run available in the next year's draft. And then with Devontae Smith, 3 years ago when he was a freshman, he was getting bombs and making people look stupid because Jalen Hurts was rolling out and Devontae Smith was finding space fucking 30 yards down the field in the open zone and catching the ball and making people look silly. So yeah, those reports definitely help out, especially with the Philly. They haven't played together in a while. There was probably just a little bit of sourness whenever Jalen went into the transfer portal and ended up in Oklahoma, but they're back together. They did a fucking lot of practice together. That spring ball in college is no joke. There's a lot of reps. There's a lot of running. There's a lot of bonding done and tears and wanting to die and exhaustion and all that stuff. So yeah, I definitely feel like it, but more so nowadays because of the way this recruiting shit is, and it's these teams that have the good quarterbacks end up having the great receivers, or these great receivers like Jamar Chase make Joey Burrow the number 1 pick and turn him into a great quarterback.
Right. Absolutely. So I think they definitely talked about it as well. And like you said, just to allude to what Aaron Rodgers is going through, these coaches don't want that. If they really believe in Joe Burrow, if they really believe in Tua, which for whatever reason Miami's shown that they believe in Tua, they're going to talk to those guys. They're going to say, what do you think you want, man? Like, let's go get what you're comfortable with. If it's a 50-50 shot, I mean, if there's a clear favorite, they're going to grab them. But if it's, do you want Jamar Chase or do you want Jalen Waddle or do you want Devontae Smith? Hey, let's go ahead and get him his guy.
And the way we see it nowadays, like back in the day in the 90s and early 2000s, when these guys are 6'4", 6'5", they're probably going to be the first picks because that's the standard quarterback. We saw last year with Kyler Murray. We saw this year with Zach Wilson. Justin Fields is big as fuck, but Trey Lance is what, 6'1"?
Yeah, something like that.
Like he's not the prototype quarterback. So yeah, I'm excited for this shit because it's wide open. We have defensive ends that are 220 pounds. We have middle linebackers that are 240 pounds. It's a completely different day in the NFL, and it opens up a lot for these players. And it's not like back in the day when, oh man, I'm 340 pounds and 6'4", so let me lose some weight and be a defensive end.
Right.
No, you're fucking 340 pounds. You're fucked. You need to be 280 and lose some weight and be a defensive end nowadays. So it's a completely different game. And the more these guys are able to match up, these great quarterbacks or these great wide receivers or these great cornerbacks with these great safeties that play together and have this rapport with each other, that's only going to benefit and enhance them, because we see more and more these rookies aren't playing like rookies. Last year, James Robinson for the Jaguars, most yards from a drafted free agent ever. And the year before that, there was like the most touchdowns from a drafted free agent
Josh
ever.
Jacobs.
Yeah. So it's just crazy what these guys, and Josh Jacobs went to fucking Alabama. It's stupid. But it's crazy.
Didn't really even play in Alabama.
Yeah, it's crazy what these guys are able to do just with the resources available for them and their athletic training and stuff like that. So it makes sense, because pick 1 through 100. Yeah, you have the Trevor Lawrences. Yeah, you have the Devontae Smiths. You have the Jamar Chases. But pick 1 through 100, there's not too much difference in athletic ability. It's their God-given presence. It's the 6'4s who can run the 4.3s. That's what makes the difference. So yeah, as long as you can get these guys who have the rapport, so what if he was going to be the pick 12 instead of pick 5? We're going to take Jamar Chase now.
He wouldn't have been pick 12. But anyway, so before I let you shout out Kyle Pitts and we get out of here, because he deserves a lot of shout outs. How'd I know? I want to give a shout out to my alma mater. Seal spent a lot of time there as well. UCF. They got their record amount, 5 guys drafted.
I wanted you, Ronnie. I wanted you.
They got their first time getting 5. This is a record. Richie Grant was our best player, at least in the drafting board. A guy I wanted to shout out legit is wow, I lost his last name. Trey. He's like, you can't sort by school, sadly. Come on, man. What am I losing?
But yeah, no, to go off at piggyback, I was really excited because I didn't pay attention to too much UCF football last year because of Dylan Gabriel. I didn't expect too much, so I wasn't really invested as much as I usually am. But yeah, I wasn't expecting so many. We're usually hyped as fuck if we get one guy in 7 rounds, and to see Richie
Grant,
to go so early, and then at 40, why we got the fucking tackle instead of, I don't, just at 40, and then at 67, and just to keep rolling. Not 222, like not Mr. Irrelevant, like really.
He actually got somebody 223, so that was almost a solid shot.
But these guys who are going to show up and make a difference on these teams really early, that's amazing. Do you hear a Houston guy? I didn't.
Mr. Irrelevant was a Houston guy. I was gonna shout him out, but I was like, "Fuck Houston." But he's not gonna make
didn't hear Houston guy. Like you don't hear about these other teams that are up there in the top tier. Of the
Cincinnati
AAC.
got one dude that was in like the first round, but
no, we had motherfucking 4 guys in the first 3. Suck my dick from the back. But yeah, it's shout out to fucking Heupel for what he was able to do, and shout out to Danny White for what he was able to bring in and recruit, and what they were able to
now
do.
We got the Gus
you guys. Now we got the Gus bus. These guys who were drafted were able to bring in and start the hype train. Fuck the Heupel train. Get the fuck out of here. But start the hype train, and this is going to keep it going. We're going to have more and more draft picks. UCF is going to be a staple, and it looks like we're going to be a staple in the secondary. Hey, is UCF going to be secondary U?
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah,
we don't just have cornerbacks. We don't just have safeties. We got them all, baby.
Yeah, the guy I wanted to shout out was Trey Nixon. I knew Trey just for whatever Nixon was just rubbing off my head. He is not the best player that we've had. He's a wide receiver. I honestly did not even think he was going to get drafted. Wasn't thinking he was going to do anything. We had our UCF
You got
pro
pissed
day.
off at him a lot last year.
He wasn't good, and I still don't think he's good. He went to New England, so whatever. I don't care if he's not good. But I just want to shout him out because I wish I was doing the ending, but I want to leave Kyle Pitts for you here. But this man, I'm telling you, he was not good. If you watch game film, he wasn't good. We had our pro day, and he did exactly what he had to do. He crushed everyone on the field in bench press, crushed everyone on the field in the shuttle run, in the 40. in everything, put up these measurables so that when the 7th round comes around and you have no clue who the fuck you want to pick, you're looking at those draft day numbers because they didn't have the combine. You're looking at those draft day numbers and you're going, who the hell is this guy? And so he did what he needed to do to get who the hell is this guy? And New England went for it. So shout out to him for saying, listen, I got my one chance. Like Tom Brady always says, you might get one chance. Make sure you got to fucking do something with that chance. On pro day, he did something with it. And Bill knows talent. So he goes out and he gets him. So shout out to him. Shout out to all of those UCF Knights. A big sorry to Marlon Williams, man. He's my boy. He's the background on my phone. He did not get drafted. He did get signed by Houston to the training camp. But he's going to do something good if people give him the chance. But he did the opposite of Trey Nixon. He was shit. I think he only bench pressed 225 like 3 times at pro day. I don't know if he was sick or what, but he was last in everything. He ran the 40 slower than one of our linemen, our defensive linemen.
He probably had just got his medical card.
I don't know what he did, but he needs to go show out in training camp. I know he will. I know how good he is. But yeah, I wanted to shout out those guys. But give us the Kyle Pitts rundown.
Real quick, no, I wanted to shout out Trey because when I saw that's literally the spot for him to go to.
Oh, yeah.
Bill and that organization, hard work beats out talent any day of the week. Lazy talent is never going to compare to hard work ever. And Trey Nixon can be that too. He can be that second wide receiver that you want to count on. Yeah. He just has to put in the effort. He's got to put in the work. He's got to put in the time, get that double move in, and just work on the little intricacies of being a professional wide receiver, and he'll be able to be there. Like you said, he put in that extra effort. He put in that hard work, and he's definitely going to get there. I was so excited to see him go to the Patriots. Like you said, I don't really care if they're able to benefit off of it, but he's going to be able to benefit off of it greatly, and I'm really excited for that. But, yeah, let's get to Kyle Pitts. Let's get to somebody who's Gator made. When we talked about it, we were talking about him being the highest drafted tight end since 1967. Fuck that. How about the highest tight end ever? How about somebody who could have came out last year and been a top 10 pick, but decided to come back, seeing what he had, seeing Kyle Trask come in at the end of the year, seeing what they could have been able to do, they should have been able to do, and get a national championship. That's what he's worried about. He's worried about the team. He's not worried about himself. He wasn't worried about the money, and he's worried about the game. It's unfortunate that he ended up in Atlanta because after next year, he's going to probably just be in a rebuild for his whole year.
I don't know. Him and Mac Jones might be able to.
He's in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
He's not in New England, bro. But, I mean, who knows? They seem to always work out trades with each other. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be in Atlanta for the next 3 or 4 years, just kind of implementing himself as one of the best tight ends ever under nobodies after next year. This year, Matt Ryan's definitely going to be able to build up his profile and get his trade package or whatever it is. What is it? His
trade value.
His value up. Through Kyle Pitts, because 4-3 tight ends don't come around too often.
True.
Travis Kelce and Zach Ertz, who are some of the best in the league, run 4.5s, 4.6s. And he's the same height as well. It's insane. And we both know as Gator fans, when it comes to blocking, he's not great. He's not going to stop the best defensive end on the team. But if a linebacker comes down, he has no chance.
Right.
He has no chance of getting in. When it comes to run stop, he's going to stop him at the line and stud him and throw his head in their fucking grill and just stun him up. And that's not a great spot to go to. But I like it because he's going to have the availability in 2 or 3 years after coming out and being outstanding to go ahead and get traded or hit free agency and get fucking paid. We're not going to see a tight end be paid that we will see in Kyle Pitts. You're not going to see a team play as hard as the team that Kyle Pitts plays for. But I'm just so excited for the guy just to come out and be the 4th pick to the Atlanta Falcons, be the highest rated tight end of all time. And it's solely credited to hard work. They came out and the Gators, they saw this motherfucker could have went anywhere. But when they saw the Gators went to him, it wasn't about his talent. It was about his work ethic. They saw what he could be able to do in practice to be able to benefit and be better. 99% of the motherfuckers coming out nowadays, they don't want to hear that. They want to know that they're going to be able to start. They're going to get the most targets. I don't want to have to practice my ass off. I don't want to have to work hard. I'm Kyle Pitts. I'm the guy. No,
Right.
that didn't happen. After last year, hey, you can be a top 10 pick right now. I don't give a fuck. Did you not just see what Kyle Trask was able to do in those last 5 games? We're winning a chip. He
Yeah.
cares about that team. He's going to care about the Falcons. I guarantee he told them he's going to give his heart and soul to them, knowing that they're probably going to win 5 or 6 games a year the next 3 or 4
Yep.
years. He's going to come out and work his ass off. And like I said last week, that's what we need to be like in life. We need to, no matter what happens in life, you need to come out and work your ass off. No matter what brick wall comes in front of you, you got to fucking bust through that shit. It's as simple as that. At the end of the day, life sucks. We're in 2021. We're getting past COVID. We're able to take our mask off, but shit still happens in the world. People still die every day to tragic losses. Cancer's still here. It's crazy as shit, but we got to persevere. We got to bust our ass, and we got to end up being the fucking first tight end drafted ever, the highest ever, like Kyle Pitts, man. It's an awesome story, and it's something that we can all benefit off of, whether we like sports or not. Whether you're fucking work in a blue collar or a white collar as a server or not. Just for me as a server, knowing if I put in that extra effort, I can make that extra money and I can get that promotion and all that stuff just from what Kyle Pitts does. And don't sell out. That's probably the biggest thing. Don't be a sellout. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your heart. Stay the person that you were raised to be, and be yourself and be a stud and not a scrub.